Hello, and we are back on the sound stage at FRSA. Roofers Coffee Shop is live. Thank you, sponsor Beacon. They have been sponsoring this whole sound stage. It's been amazing. And I have to say, I'm so happy because we have one of our favorite R Club members here today. We love all of our R Club members, but Kyle, you're the best.
Great to see you.
Great
the whole
to see
team's
you.
here. And Alex made it too.
The whole team's here. It's so great.
Yeah.
So Total Roof Systems, the metal roof experts.
Yes.
That's all we've been hearing about is metal roofs the last 2 days.
All right.
So let's start with an introduction. Tell us about your company, and then I want to get into this and talk about it.
Well, Total Roofing Systems has been in Southeast Florida for 40 some years.
Wow.
When it was originally a larger commercial roofing outfit. Jesus Lara purchased it, and we became more residentially metal roof orientated. But we've recently brought Richard McEwen out of retirement. I think I announced that last year.
Yeah.
And he's still with us, and we're really getting into now combining the commercial capability on a massive scale.
Wow.
We had the hurricane response we're part of, been called over to the West Coast a lot for that on the larger projects that nobody seems to do very well, because Jesus Lara is just a production nut. It's streamlined, and
all the process.
Just all about the process, and we're really having a blast with that. So we're really diversifying into more larger multi-residential and commercial work this past year.
That is
wonderful.
Great. That is great. And you are. What percentage of your business is metal? Is it all, or are you kind of?
So that's the thing. I mean, we inquired the metal roof experts in their name in 2018, but we're just as good at tile. It's anything high-end custom, and that's the thing. When you have the relationship we do between Dynamic Metals and Total Roofing, we look at everything from the manufacturer's point of view.
Yeah.
So even the tear-off crews are looking about what we're going back with, and is the substrate going to be suitable for that metal environment? It's going to show everything.
Right.
So we get really good at the metal and the tile as well. There's a $218 million property listed down in West Palm Beach, the most expensive piece of real estate in the country. $218 million. That was a $750,000 high slope tile roof job that Total Roofing did.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So that because we took the production capability that I'm talking to a large residential project, and we came out on top on that.
Oh my gosh,
that's awesome.
That is so cool. So what are you hearing out here? I know Dynamic Metals just came on to Metal Coffee Shop. We're so excited. Welcome.
Finally got
and we're going to have them on the soundstage here in a little bit.
Wonderful.
But you're working really closely with them. You did some amazing stuff with the Tedlar product on the coastline. What's happening in the metal roofing industry right now in Florida?
In the metals as a whole, wow.
Trending, where is it?
Well, the biggest complaint or the holdup has been insurance, and they only give 20 years on roof systems, and I think we've got that stretched out. Our governor's got that pretty well squashed, at least the 30 years right now for the metal.
Good.
So that's what I tell clientele is if you're holding back from that, just think about the protection of your own assets within the building, the things that insurance cannot replace. Think about the value of what's inside your building and what you really want to put on top. Let us figure the rest of that out in Tallahassee. We've got it already extended 10 years, give us another 10 years to get it another 10 years. So don't make that decision today based on insurance.
Right.
Insurance is always going to find a way to get you.
Yeah.
So just roll with the punches, trust the guys that why this trend is happening is because it's the best roof system if the details are done correctly, if the correct underlayments are being done. And I would think that's where the biggest part of the difference is, the apples and oranges is coming in, is in the details in metal roofing and what underlayments you're here to use. That's why we got a lot of questions for a lot of these people here at this conference.
Right.
Why should we use yours and what have you? We have all this experience with these certain products.
Yeah.
What are you doing differently?
Yeah. And there's a lot of metal companies out there.
Yeah. I mean, so there's getting more and more of a demand for it, a lot more competition. It's getting difficult for people to set their size apart and set their ways apart. So it's really becoming much more of a relationship orientation more than just the product itself. Yeah,
absolutely. I've seen it being out there. I've talked to a lot of the metal companies, and it is pretty. I'm kind of amazed at the growth that I've seen. It happened. I've been coming to FRSA, Kyle, 30 years, and when I see the amount of metal. It's always been a strong metal market, but it's just exponentially feels like it's been growing.
Yeah.
And new companies. I mean, we were talking to a bunch of them out there.
Yeah, and it just popped in my head because it always does when we talk.
Yeah.
Just another forefront of that, I think, too, is finally, I think solar's starting to come around. They're starting to learn their lumps. They learned their lessons. They came out, they promised everything in the world. and then some to everybody.
Yeah.
And they didn't prove that. So now we're strategically planning and co-partnering. We did a podcast on that on Ask a Roofer with Megan on the importance of partnering contractors in the solar with the roofing world and bringing them together.
Yes.
I want to talk to you about roofing, about impact windows and doors now, because now we're starting to look at full energy packages.
I love it.
Hey, if you're going to get PACE financing, or you're going to take advantage of this finance opportunity, whatever's latest in market that solar is providing, rebates on doors and windows, tax rebates, that all these incentives come in play, they can all help you pay for your roof.
Right,
so if you do it all one
go.
lump sum, what's that look like? But then you don't go all through 5 different roofers and 20 different solar guys and 6 different window guys and then try to throw it all together.
No.
You have to really look at it. Yeah, so that's what I'm starting to focus on right now.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
That's
it's really
cool.
interesting.
Yeah.
Even starting to look at like a national provider that's on the storm response level, and incorporating, okay, let's prep your whole process and your organization around your portfolio on what happens when a storm comes. How are we going to manage that ahead of time, rather than wait for everything to happen and then respond?
Well, I was going to say, we can't be in Florida without talking about hurricanes. And you have done so much to help your clients prepare for storms and also then reacting. And we were talking about actually having to go in and fix some stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now that Dynamic Metals has another location over in Fort Myers, and we were already doing some large multi-residential projects, so commercial projects over there, and government projects. A lot of the smaller projects are they've got through the insurance claim process, out of state contractors that come into a high wind velocity area, and West Coast compared to East Coast is actually lower standards. So they're installing, they can't keep up with those standards. So we've had to come in and fix a lot of those and take over a lot of those projects.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be relied upon on that, but I got to be honest with you, it puts a strain on my workload on the East Coast, and it actually puts a strain on my company. So I'd rather be prepared for something like that ahead of time, and so that's why we're starting to think backwards on the storm response and get ahead of it rather than reactive.
Yeah,
proactive rather than reactive.
I mean, your company, all the really good licensed companies, FRSA, working so hard to set those standards of licensing and being local, because people who just come in and then leave, that's just not doing it for you.
And that's the thing about what you guys do, and I've talked to you about that before. Nobody's policing our industry.
Yeah.
And everybody here at this, they get fly-by-night people coming in here, swooping in, whatever. And it takes integrity, and we have to police each other, and we have to educate each other, and you guys have been such an important part of that.
Thanks.
And thank you for all you do.
We that's the thing. Roofing respect, right? We want to bring up the profession, and we want to give everybody the information they need, meet people like you so that they can see good mentors and what it's all about. So speaking of that, doing good, you and I have had some great podcasts talking about how you've been giving back to the community, and you're still working on some of that.
On the seed region thing.
Yeah. Maybe just a little bit on that.
It's still alive. I've been, working backwards from my primary target in the commercial roofing industry has always been the owner-operator, the person whose business is in the facility they own. Right. Problem is they're getting to the point where they've rolled over so many times that asset that they can't afford to fix the roof right along with the windows and the full building envelope and the concrete and everything around it. So I've been backing up a lot to the investors. And I'm going to go ahead and plug them on here. Chris Powers, the Fort Podcast over in Texas, man, the best informative podcast. I've been following him. I'm not like a fan guy, when I see a rock star, I like to leave him alone. But man, I just listen. It's just so much food. Yeah. And through him, he spoke with a guy, Michael Locker, who's the most, I forget how he coined phrases, but basically the most giving roofing company, or I'm sorry, Michael, I didn't prepare for this too much, but anyway, he has, his primary business is retail plazas. A lot of the plazas and refurbishing them and breaking them up into separate buildings. So when the Kmart went out, he did a lot of the Kmarts, and then they were just sitting rotting buildings completely, and he brings them back up to par, and he breaks them out in different plazas, and he turns them into these monsters. Yeah. That's his bread and butter. Okay. Awesome job. But he has this whole separate company that is, he customizes old churches and historical buildings and turns them into hotels. Okay. And 100% of the proceeds and the profits from that go toward anything local in that area as a nonprofit, as a gift, and give back to society. Wow. And that's just goosebumps.
Yeah.
You know, because that's all I've been trying to do with Seed Region,
Yeah.
and also build the future workforce of our companies, as manufacturers and installers and contractors, everybody, just drive
Training
the
facilities and
workforce
help,
development. And here's this guy doing that, so I called him, and I was like, how are you finding these opportunities, these buildings, or the people that are going to work with you in this regard? And he, you know, he's a man of God, so fellow man of God. He referred me back to my ministry, and I forgot I talked to my church about it 2 years ago. And their feedback was, well, it's a good dream, Kyle. You know, good luck with that. It's been your dream for a long time. I'm like, you know what? It's not a dream.
No,
this isn't a dream. There's people like him out there doing it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's another one. Chris had another guy on his podcast, and I commented on LinkedIn on, I forget the interviewee at the time, but this is the food brain, the brain food that you're putting out there, Chris. Just keep it up. Keep up the good work.
I love it.
And he just reminded you can just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. There's nobody policing our industry.
No.
So if we say we want to find this building, find out who owns it, let's find out who knows who to get in on this building and make some use of it. And let's turn it into a collaborative manufacturing space where we can teach kids out of these deprived neighborhoods, how to develop a skill. Okay, and then put it to work right into an entrepreneurial business. And the proceeds from that will go back to revitalize that surrounding community.
That's
so
awesome.
he really supported it. He just encouraged me to keep on plugging away the best I can. And the way I'm doing that now is just saying, I'm just going to do it myself. So I'm diversifying my portfolio. I'm bringing in windows and doors and foundation improvements, all the things that go in line with commercial roofing that I see happen because of the roof system. I'm teaming up with providers and contractors that do that solve those solutions for my customer. And so I can make more money, not for me, not for my family, but to support my mission. And that's to give back.
Well, I tell you what, I know there's a lot of people listening to this. This is something that can happen. Sorry, you got me choked up. This is something that can happen in the roofing industry. If you're interested, starting in South Florida, right?
Yeah, I was just in Fort Pierce. I know we have some properties down in West Palm, in Palm Beach County, spread pretty wide as far as industrial areas that Class B real estate is a primary target right now, but once they get so far depleted, nobody really wants to refurbish them. Actually, the old fire station I was working with the city of Fort Pierce with, I went through there last week and they leveled the property. They chose to level the property and leave it empty rather than do something like this with it. And I was like, if you would have just told me I had that space and just let me do something with it, I will raise the money to refurbish that asset. You know, we will bring it back to life for this purpose, because it's not just one investor doing it, it's a community coming in behind it. So that's what we're looking for. These buildings are just sitting there rotting in this neighborhood with intellectual property and children and young adults that don't have an opportunity to go anywhere else. They don't have skilled trades in their schools. They have no idea where they're going after high school. Let's put it right in their lap.
Get them in roofing.
Get them in the roofing and plumbing, and electrical, solar, manufacturing. We need it all. They just need a spark. They just need a vision. And
like yours.
Put it in their lap.
I love it. If you're listening to this and you want to get involved, this man will connect you. And we've been trying to put that message out for you.
I appreciate that. Yes,
we are like, this is
I send that link
awesome.
every time I can.
I know.
Thank you so
love
much.
it. Thank you.
So awesome.
Thank you so much, Kyle. I'm inspired. As always, I love talking to you. It was so cool. Thank you for all your insights and for your passion. I just love it. We're going to be back with more interviews very soon. Stay tuned.